Right. We're going to start this year with a classic. I forgot to bring the lead sleeve for this. This book, this thing, has never actually been formally published, but it is regarded by all as the worst piece of science fiction ever written. It's called The Eye of Argon by Jim Theus. The weather-beaten trail wound ahead into the dust-racked plains of the barren land which dominated large portions of the Norgelian Empire. Age-worn hoofprints, smothered by the sifting sands of time, shone dully against the dust-splattered crust of earth. The tireless sun cast its parching rays of incandescence from overhead, comma, halfway through its daily revolution. Small rodents scampered about, occupying themselves in the daily accomplishment of their dismal lives. Stop being a rodent in this world. Dust sprayed over three heaving mounts in blinding clouds while they bore the burdens and cargoes of their struggling overseers. Yes, they are struggling, the burdensome overseers are the cargo. The overseers are struggling, presumably because they don't want to be on the heaving mounts. Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell, barbarian, gasped the first soldier. Only after you have kissed the fleeting steed of death, wretch.
Oh, stop, for God's sake, stop. How to stop?
Hooray! Well, I even get to say the hero's name. Okay, I'll pay $150 to get the last two words of the sentence out. Returned Grignir.
Sounds like something out of Galaxy Quest. Grignac.
I think there was somebody going in a container and somebody going around to collect.
We have not actually reached the bottom of the first page.
Yes.
We have got to the end of the third paragraph, but that's only because two of them are speech and short.
Can I ask where you got that, and secondly, why?
Yeah.
Well, the why is obvious.
The why is more important.
I got this off, let's see, file, colon, // C. It's somebody's on right, it's mine. /10/I.html. Yes, it has.
Ah, we have a bucket. Excellent. Fiction.
Is that for cash or from then do the Greek as well?
Is that for cash or is it for something else? No, that's for cash.
No. Did you not see the chin strap? It is an emergency hat.
Oh, I was more thinking about the...
I've got some money ready to stop myself.
That means we have to do.
Who carries money these days? That's the trouble.
Well, you can send it to my account.
A book of which I know nothing, shall I?
Yes, yes.
Well, this book very handily tells you where you are and what's happening before things begin. The time. The troubled now, in which every man, woman and child from all walks of life seeks the correct answer to the eternal questions of life, death, and the hereafter. The place. New York, Boston, Chicago, St. Louis, Los Angeles, Miami, Rome, Berlin, London, all corners of this earth and world where the devil still walks and works to confuse, corrupt and boggle the mind of all mankind.
£1 to read it in the style of a Sky newsreader.
The man. Phillipson George, a man with a mission. On the side of the angels, those sentinels of reason and goodness who continually must wage war against Satan and his prospects.
Did I say stop? No.
£5
No, it's the
to read it in
adverts.
the style of Donald Trump.
Oh!
Excuse me, I'm aiming that bucket.
That's going to be difficult.
When one is engaged in the matter of slaying dragons, not just any dragons, the best dragons, the biggest dragons, the scaleless dragons, one must concern oneself with even the smallest, the Bidenist dragons. I learned that. No, I taught that to an ancient Kung Fu proverb, circa 737 AD. That's after Donald. Pound to go back to something more sensible in the voice.
It was worth it though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Is Ian Paisley around?
Oh my God.
I don't think.
You want to go full Paisley now?
No,
Are we saving that for lesbian statistics?
yes, we'll save that for lesbian vampires.
BBC newsreader. Pick whichever one you feel comfy with.
Yeah, actually, I can do world service quite well. So shall we, let's see how I do it with the, I'd like to read this first and then something here. So the Welsh coast basks in summer tranquility. Then the drownings began. But not until the monstrous crustaceans crawl ashore, their paint is poised for destruction, does the world understand the threat it faces. A seafood cocktail for the strongest stomachs. I'll go into some of the words now, and what is written in this book. It's really warm, Julie laughed. Shall we go for a nice long swim?
£1 to read it in the style of a children's Jackanory presenter.
Oh, let's see if I
Bastards.
Well, I might be. You're going to have to correct me if I get this. I'll give it a go. Okay. Suits me. Ian glanced down at the front of his bathing costume. Julie always made him like that. Damn her. He thought of stripping off, showing her what she had seen in the bedroom only last night. Why the hell couldn't he? There wasn't a soul about. All the same, someone might have a pair of field glasses and a watcher and prudish, as well as being a busybody.
Justin.
And report him. What do you think of that, boys and girls?
Ooh, Herbaces.
He thought of all the publicity. Uncle Cliff. He shrugged off the thought and splashed after Julie. God, what a figure she had! Enough to make any man want her badly. Really terribly badly, children. Julie, the water up to the top half of her bikini, turned back to him. Come on, she yelled. What's keeping you? Race you around to that headland. Maybe there's a quiet cove there where we can... Well, boys and girls, what do you think they might be up to? I think you might be right. But we're a little bit before the watershed today, but it's okay. We're after the watershed yesterday. So it's all absolutely fine. Julie, the water up to the top half of it. I've just read this, haven't I?
Oh,
Come
God,
on!
it's Groundhog Day.
Come on, what's keeping you? No, I've read that as well. Excuse me, I'm not very... Okay. Blooper reel, it's okay. Ian never heard the rest of the sentence, for with a seductive smile she dived backwards and began kicking out her legs. Yes, he smiled to himself. Maybe there was a little quiet cove just around the headland where we can... He plunged into a crawl, losing sight of his fiancée as his head went under the water. He powers on, heading out to sea, about a couple of 100 yards, and then he would veer left, following the coastline, maybe even catching Coles was a strong swimmer too. She even matched Ian's speeds. And after 10 minutes or so, there was still a good 50, jolly good 50 yards between them. Of course, she had got a good head start on him. Ding dong. He increased his efforts, clawing the
You're all enjoying this far too much.
I know! Actually makes the book bearable.
Oh, so what was that?
They have to get 50 feet to stop. They'll have to outbid me to carry on.
Stop.
Do we have the stops got it, or we start carrying on?
I think stop.
What did you say, carry on or stop?
I think we've been tortured enough.
I could do it in another voice if you want me to.
No.
I could, you know.
That's what I can take
It would be fine. I could do
Take
this.
IOUs.
People might get hit by the shrapnel if we go to pieces that fast.
I found this one, The Swordsman of Mars.
Oh, good God.
And it says, he wore another man's body on a red planet. Which
Oh, Betty did a dirty dog.
I just put a note in here. I haven't a clue what on earth it's going to say.
It's all perfectly
We
good.
will carry on. I guess see it a bit.
Yeah, but does he mean war? Does he mean war?
When Fawn looked out through the leafy screen that camouflaged the door of Fane's island home, he saw that a warrior in the uniform of the office of the Kamut had dismounted in the clearing. The fellow was leading his gore beneath the beneath the branches of a large spreading tree, where the bird beast would be concealed from observers. It's a gwah flying overhead. The newcomer walked with the peculiar rolling gait of a man whose legs are abnormally short in proportion to the rest of his body. It's Yuri-Doo, Fawn exclaimed, in relation to Scooby-Doo, probably. Keeping cautiously beneath the trees which fringed the clearing, Yuri-Doo circled towards the house. A few moments later, he entered the opening in the screen. To Fawn, he rendered the usual salutation, but to Fane, the royal salute. This surprised the Earlham until he remembered that she was the daughter of Miradonville, and therefore entitled to the homage due a princess. I have news, momentous news, said Yuri-Doo as he entered the hut. Have you news of my father? Fane asked anxiously. Ill news, he replied. His Majesty is in the clutches of Selhan, who has imprisoned him in Castle Takor. We must find a way to rescue him, exclaimed Fawn. Wait, I have not told you all, Yuri-Doo said. Perhaps I'd best begin at the beginning. After I was netted by Selham's Margongi, that was
Thank God.
they searched a while for you, my lord, but at last they gave up the chase and flew with me to Castle Takar. I found the castle garrisoned entirely by Margungi, with Sir dead and a few of his cronies in command.
50p to stop.
Please, I was going to pay myself.
I'm doing an IOU.
Yes, okay.
I think you can get cream from that dog again.
I think that book was written by someone who's drunk and just pulled out next to the Scrabble.
I think Scrabble might be a bit too upper class. I think they might be going for like.
Probably do.
I'm figuring
Oh, yeah.
We'll have another classic, Adrift in the Stratosphere. Here, by Professor Ian Lowe, who was head of the British Planetary Society. There's a picture. It's a frontispiece picture. Trust me,
There's a space aardvark at the bottom there.
No.
You say space aardvark's bottom?
No.
Well, no, it's just its top half, I think. But
Oh, okay. All right.
Right,
that'd be very
a mad scientist has, of course, built a spaceship. Unfortunately, 3 schoolboys accidentally, well, they on purpose climb into it, but they accidentally set it off into flight. And the way one does. and they're on their way to Mars. They found the radio set, turned it on, and they're receiving a message from Mars. I wish, said Peter after a pause, that we knew how to steer this cursed ship. The professor must have provided for it. He wouldn't have planned to make a trip into space without arranging for some kind of control over the ship. If his handwriting in the book of notes had not been so bad, we might have found out long ago, we might have found out long before now, but I've searched and searched and haven't found a thing about it. You're right, noted Philip. And there's probably some simple secret of control, if only we knew that. At that moment there came an interruption, the radio rubbing forth again. All three were silent as the Martian's voice spoke. People of Earth, attention. Sorry, that's from the film. People of Earth, hearken to me.
£1.
I am the king and lord.
Talk like death.
Ooh.
Terry Pratchett's death.
I can't do that. You can't do that with this book. This book has a specific style.
Not anymore, it
Sound like
doesn't.
1,000 slamming coffin lids.
You'll have to outfit it then.
£2 for me to carry on in the style that the book is meant to be read.
That book was never meant to be read.
No, you must not read from the book.
Sorry, I'm going to have to fine you for a far too recent movie reference. Me. Oh.
Okay,
Them.
cost us to find.
They them
You
pronouns.
see, you define by putting money in the spot. Then we collect the fine.
Fine.
Fine by me.
It's all right.
Bloody third reader. To me is entrusted the defence of our great planet, the greatest in all the heavens.
I think we've lost the dramatic thread. I think you need to go back a bit.
People of Earth, attention, sorry. People of Earth, hearken to me. I am the king and lord of Mars. To me is entrusted the defence of our great planet, the greatest in all the heavens. For millions of years, we Martians have grown and developed, while you Earthlings were just a spawn or crawling jellyfish in the scheme of things.
I'll give you 50p if the Martians are read as a pissed off teenager.
No. You can give
Oh.
50p anyway, but I'm not going to do it. Now you are growing up and are trying to find out secrets which you must never know. ... Everything you have done and said since you left the earth has been seen and heard by us. We have been watching you, hearing you, even reading your thoughts. Already you have found out some of our secrets and are to be destroyed. ... Do you hear? ... Destroyed! Nice sort of chap, ejaculated Victor. The others grinned. It was more like a musical comedy than sheer stark reality. I see you smile, the Martian Lord went on. But you will not...
£1 to do it in the voice of a Dalek.
Get Kevin to do it.
I've just switched on the imaginary voice modulator. You will now hear from the imaginary voice modulator the voice of the Dalek. I see you smile, the Martian Lord went on. But you will not smile when you hear what I have to say. We have heard you talking amongst yourselves. Because you have seen so much, you have been wondering at the things you have seen. ... Wondering what they all mean. You shall know, comma, for you will never return to the Earth planet alive to tell what you have found out. ...
Ooh, 4 dots. It's a dramatic change.
It's very dramatic. You have been wondering, for example, What is the meaning of the mighty chasms which you've seen through your screen? Dash. And we Martians are not a little alarmed to find that some Earth brain is so mighty as to devise an apparatus like this and invent an instrument that can enable you to see and hear us. ...
Pounds to turn off the influence that lets us see and hear us.
That's not with a 50p.
Okay. I know how long the next sentence is.
Right, you go and have some deep breaths. Deep breaths. This book is entitled UFO 517. If they were not extraterrestrial, whence did they come?
By Bron Fane.
It's got to be an anagram of a real name, isn't it?
No, that's Lionel Fanthorpe.
Yes, what it was right.
Lionel.
Well, it's an anagram of some of the letters of his name and a couple of extra ones that aren't in his name.
Sophia, are you alleging that Lionel Fanthorpe isn't a real author?
6 to 10, I think he used.
There was urgency in the knock. Val raised a quizzical eyebrow at Lenoir, strode across the room and flung the door back with characteristic vigour. Elspeth half fell into the flat. Val put a hand out to steady her. Lenoir helped her across to the couch. How many people did it take to help this woman walk into a room?
Many.
Don't forget, he was getting paid by the word.
What's the matter? I felt I had to come. I don't know why. It's just an awful feeling I've got. Neither of them spoke. He looked at her inquiringly, promptingly. Joan the Wad is the luckiest Cornish piskie of them all. She sees all... I'm sorry, there's an advert in the middle of this.
I feel like a bowl of Maggie soup.
Joan the Wad is queen of all the lucky Cornish piskies. Thousands of persons all over the world claim that Joan the Wad have brought them wonderful luck to the capital W. This is not just your ordinary run-of-the-mill luck. This is wonderful luck in the way of healthy wealth and happiness. History free for a shilling. That doesn't even make sense, does it? History free for a shilling.
History free for... unless
There's no
for a
real
shilling,
history
you
in
can
it.
be free if you're
It
on
contains-
Put a
history.
shilling in. History is now free, so we can move on to the next bit.
Yay! Woo, I like it. Very cost effective, says me as a financial regulator. She said that.
The man in grey, she said, the one from Selby's, or one exactly like him, I kept seeing him at my lectures. He was there, but when I turned my head, he had gone. Then terrible things started to happen in the common room. It didn't seem real, and then the whole building... She broke off.
What it's
It all sounds so disjointed, doesn't it?
Was that a stop bit there?
No, I'm just ready this one.
Before I hit hypersonic.
I thought he was going to go. That's okay.
It all sounds so disjointed, doesn't it? You must think I'm going mad. Sure, Lenoir. I'll make you some coffee. She left the kitchen door open and went on talking. There was something soothing, motherly about the way she calmed and encouraged Elspeth. By the time the coffee was made, the psychology student was already feeling a great deal better. This whole business has nearly knocked me to pieces. Somehow, it's difficult to explain.
Explain.
I wouldn't have thought it was difficult to explain. It would have knocked bigger and bigger people than you to pieces, somehow. You began by getting mixed up in murder. Murder.
Most foul.
And now you seem to have attracted the unwelcome attention of whatever it is that dresses in a grey suit.
Why are we doing Maurice Chevalier?
I thought it was Jacques Clouseau.
Oh, not.
Well, I thought it was Poirot.
He's Belgian.
Although it started out as the Knights in Monty Python, but never mind.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, wasn't it
50p to add in
the
Captain
French Knights and the Big
Hastings.
Oh, brilliant.
It doesn't really
Captain Hastings.
Yeah, how does he- he's not actually speak though, he's just there to be spoken at. Yeah.
He's a prototypical British officer.
Ah, but here's a description of him. He is either more sinister and much stronger, said Elizabeth, or we are seeing more of the truth.
It's a very, very tightly cut suit.
50p, we can't handle the truth. Yes.
You can handle the truth. Can't even, who said that? I can't
Jack
remember.
Nicholson.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
I think
Yeah, a
you
few
said it
good
just
men.
now.
Yeah.
We just had 50p to stop, wasn't it?
Right, yes, hurrah.
I'm moving to you now.
Yeah.
Oh, another crab book.
Oh, what? Not more tripe.
I have to admit, yeah, crabs.
No, tripe is cow stomach. This is crab.
I just can't stomach this full stop.
I've got crabs and I didn't even go to Walberswick. There's a reference there. But you don't need to know that.
What's the
That's
book
okay.
called? Crabs?
It's called The Origin of the Crabs.
Ooh.
Crabs. The gamekeeper looked behind him. Crabs were all around him, moving in close in a circle.
I'll
His
give you a
eyes
quid
bulged.
to read it in the style of David Attenborough.
His eyes bulged. He searched his brain for a logical explanation. There was none. He wrestled with the problem and then crossed over the narrow line which separates sanity and madness. All right, you bastards, if you want to cut up rough, you come to the right place. Killian swung a punch at the nearest tiny face, screaming abuse. The blow never landed. Hardly was the arm at full extent when something caught it, held it, a snipping sound like powerful scissors cutting through a length of taut, heavy-duty string. A thud. Caleb swung back to strike again, powering forward with the stump of his arm, jetting blood at his adversaries, laughing. He was totally unaware that nothing existed below his elbow. He threw a left hook at this time, which was parried, caught, and held.
You mean absolutely nothing existed below his elbow? So, I mean, there was just sort of upper arm, upper torso, head, and nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing
that'd
at
be
all.
interesting.
Where did the frigging crabs go?
To see if there's a pub.
Who can blame the little dears?
Shall I go on? Are you sitting uncomfortably? Because gosh knows I am right now.
£1 to read in style of Dave Lister.
Oh.
Snake! He threw a left hook at this time, which the parry caught and held. The bone snapped, snaky neck. A clumsy amputation, now trailing sinews and jagged flesh. Still he fought, armless, without even a bloody thing to loot, blow after blow. Snake! The crowds closed in. Tonight they're in no mood to play. The shock of the series of underwater explosions had angered them as never before. They blamed this man with his puny strength. A forest of claws pulled the gamekeeper down. He kicked at them, even though he had no legs. What?
Excuse me, are you actually expecting any sense from this book? If you thought you'd come to the wrong place.
They tore flesh from his bones while he still lived. He watched his own intestines devoured without comprehension or curry sauce. I'll put in curry sauce. Or when he died, he was still smiling as his final joke. What? He'd made a right bloody mess of the sauce. Okay.
Proud to stop. He's new at this. I mean, we should.
They are new at this.
You don't know what
They are new at this. And are an awkward non-binary sort. Because that's the way that I roll.
Well, I was about to start reading from this, and then I got handed this. So,
Alternate lines.
What are they?
lines and sentences.
Sentences.
Sentences, yeah.
That would be
How
better.
much is that then?
And in the style of Kermit the Frog.
Stedman took it in the spirit it was meant and smiled back. I'd like to come, he said.
I bet you would.
To open the proceedings, Locke sang addressed his followers in a voice like a foghorn, describing the contest and its purpose. Words were going through his mind like express trains. Both teams, as he announced them, were greeted with hearty cheers. The creeping coffins of Barbados!
It doesn't make less sense than any of the others.
Then comparative silence settled on the crowd as Kit and George mounted their horses and cantered to the starting posts. He was involved in a mystery that he had often written about. Kit's mare was smaller than Dodge's grey stallion, and Norbu frowned as he heard the fat man increase the odds on Tibet to 3-1. This wasn't a story. A lean-faced man with long dripping moustaches who appeared to be Lobsang's chief lieutenant dropped a white flag. And as far as Steven was concerned, there was no supernatural agency about. The horses were off. His mind was linked with linking the coffin to the churchyard vault with Zelby and some alien shadows called Negons. 5 times round the circle of flags was the distance, but at the end of the 4th circuit, Georgie was 10 lengths ahead of Kit. Like a man in a dream, he found himself following Odison, Covermere, and the others towards the vault.
Bizarrely makes sense. That's what's worrying.
The mare loaned by Sharon was used to carrying loads, not to racing. It seemed odd that anything sinister could lie beneath those white coral stone blocks. Nevertheless, Kit was able to rally her into making a final effort, and Georgie won in the end by only 6 lengths, amid delighted applause. The afternoon sun of that 19th century day on Barbados was bright, clean, and awesome.
It makes more sense.
Mercy.
Okay, found to
Okay,
stop.
50 p to stop.
Yes, but is that the left hand one you're stopping or the right hand?
Both, I think.
Oh, wow. It's weird though, it actually sort of works.
Right, whilst you're having a rest, I'll try and attempt this one. This is locusts, and apparently they found that David and Alan have found an abandoned Land Rover, apparently. They scrambled along a dry gully. There were even ashes here, 20 yards from the nearest point of the fire. The death and desolation would stretch even further.
Okay, you knew it was coming. David Bellamy.
Only in the that's going to work, isn't it? The stench. No, hold on, I've got to build up. The stench of burning ground will waggle me white nuts. The death and desolation would stretch even further. The stench of burning, driving every living thing to seek new quarters, maybe even a new permanent habitat. Fire and locusts. Alan decided he had a lot in common. They both left total destruction in their wake. Alan's foot kicked against the solid judgment, heavier than a football, roughly the same size. It moved wobbling a few inches and came a standstill, lodged against a piece of rock. He glanced down at it and the fire wove up into his throat. Instantly he was backing away, mouthing words that would not come, wanting to run around. "What's the matter?" Kevin Williams turned back. "Well, waggle me white nuts, it's a human head, and it's all dressed up in pig manure." And it was there were a few of the fractures left to distinguish it, but there was no doubt in his mind that it belonged to Peter Dutton. Just a skull, blackened flesh, still adhering to its parts. And it come all the way from Peru. I'm stopping myself now.
How did your ceremony suit? I think that was brilliant. I really loved that.
Well, ain't my feminine voice, that's for sure.
Yes, but you have a great friend. You're very impressed.
I'll use the beer.
Oh, all right. Meanwhile, back in
I
Tibet.
forced you into it.
It was first blood to Tibet, and Sandy was taut and nervous as he accompanied Aku out into the arena to begin the pole vault. This is a well-known ancient Tibetan sport. Pole vaulting. If he
Ancient
were-
Tibet, not modern Tibet, obviously. We fooled with that.
If he was beaten, the contest would be over. He tested the long bamboo pole and for a moment experienced panic. It seemed incredible that he should be standing here, in a lonely valley in Tibet, preparing to jump for his friend's freedom and his own. Suddenly he remembered his father and mother in Scotland and felt better. They drew lots, and Apu had the first jump. He was taller than Sandy, but not so compactly built. As he went over the bar at about 8 feet, he was grinning from ear to ear, and it became obvious at once that he was a practiced performer. Honestly, I don't understand pole vaulting in Tibet, but it is really strange. Belongs. Gradually the bar rose higher, until at last, to thunderous acclaim, both boys cleared 10 feet. It was the best height Sandy had ever done. Kit and Georgie, attending the bar, put it up to nearly 10 feet 6 inches. The crucial moment had come, and the Tibetans shouted encouragement to both competitors. Aku smiled to Sandy. Then he balanced his pole, took 3 easy paces forward, and began to run. Norbu, Willie, and Jock, crowding close to Lobsang and the Major, got up on their knees to watch. Presumably they'd been lying down.
Sorry, was that knees or niece?
Knees.
Oh,
All right.
But meanwhile, back at the Satan Sleuth.
Yeah, so dip into Satan's Sleuth, where, for reasons that I cannot fathom, we have a list of things the hero wants, or at least somebody wants.
A panther in the style of James Tiberius Kirk.
Oh! No, it's William Shatner.
A lot of pause.
I heard his middle name was Tate.
Except where otherwise indicated. Set of burglar tools, complete in every detail. Picking devices, jimmies, skeleton keys, tumbler devices, steel wire, etc. Magnetic wristwatch, luminous dial, built-in compass, date indicator and time fix for any part of the world or worlds. The best that money can buy. If this must be custom made, please advise.
Can I please prefer 50p for you to read it in the style of Jeremy Clarkson?
Jeremy Clarkson.
Jeremy Clarkson
Tell me when I'm getting close. Jeremy
might
Clarkson.
just be the fastest person in the world.
An old pencil set,
And
which
drop
will
the word
conceal
power
any
in
sharp
every
cutting
letter.
edge or knife blade for tool and or weapon value. Length of steel wire, which can do double duty as man's belt but camouflaged as much. Toledo steel design here. Double action German PPK automatic. .32 caliber, known as the James Bond handgun. Also, 1,000 rounds of ammunition. 100 marijuana cigarettes. 12 capsules of LSD or any other hallucinogenic drug you could get your hands on. Which I think were taken before you wrote the list. 10 door lamp, as small and portable as possible. Laser device, no larger than a standard flashlight. 12 smoke bombs, 12 grenades, 12 rocket flares, 1 very pistol, US Army M1 band preferred, in all categories. That was the rather explosive content of page 1. Sidney Kite was perspiring freely when he got to page 2.
What about to read it in the style of Frank Spencer?
One. Page 1, Betty. 1 habit, black, cowled, 1 piece, just worn by monks. Crucifix, hand size, but no larger than 12 inches in length, no smaller than 10 inches. Base must be wooden. Christ figure must be metallic or plastic. Any material other than wood. rosary bead, the longer the better. Copy of the Bible, Old Testament version only. Is it then the Bible?
No, it's not. That would be a copy of the Old Testament.
Anyway, must be pocket size, gilt-edged leather binding, dog-eared from much handling, rather like me. Pair of open-toed leather sandals. They're older and more worn the better. If not leather, rope would be all right. Makeup kit as thorough as possible. Something an Olivier, such as myself, would use. Complete with dyes, wigs, moustaches, grease paints, etc. St. Christopher medal for wearing about the neck of the chain because I need all the luck I can get. Electric razor, any brand, like this little one. Safety razor, ditto above. Extra blade. Black ID card, such as a priest would carry.
Priests often get stopped and asked for their IDs.
But they carry a blank one?
Normally near schools.
Who are you? I'm nobody. I was about to slip back into Clarkson there.
Now, because he stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
Just to find out what that list was actually for.
You don't expect
There's a whole other page of the little list, you know.
Look, you don't carry have to actually read the book. You know, we just pick out little bits of it. Right, it is now.
This was a shopping list.
Just here's a comment that goes, what the hell could anyone, even an Einstein, make of such a list?
Yeah.
Nothing.
What Reverend Ian does is what he reads.
Yeah.
Well, give me a minute to
Have I got
declarktonise.
time to read somebody's Bats Out of Hell book?
Oh yes, that's
Can I please
No,
do that?
we're down to the last 10 minutes, I'm afraid, so it's down to
the book. Time flies when you're horrified.
Oh, just a shame. I was really looking forward to reading it.
You'll enjoy listening to this.
Yeah, right, okay.
Okay, right. What we go? We'll go with a classic, shall we? Yes, you pegged it, my man. This is John Carter's Space Detective by Frank Belknap Long, who is actually a very good horror writer in his day, but this is not one of his better books. This is Wobblies in the Moon.
What? Classic.
Wobblies. John Carstairs is not actually a space detective. He is the head curator of
Things.
Out
of place.
At a zoo.
Botanical. Space Botanical Garden. That's the wrong page.
They're all the wrong page.
It's just not found the most wrong.
I'm happy to read some of this.
No, give me a second.
We want to hear some bats.
How much have we bid for some bats?
£1 for
A
some
pound for
bats.
some bats.
50p for some bats.
Yes,
whilst
we need
the
some
other
bats.
five cents.
£3.50 for bats. There you go. Ooh.
Bats in front of the promotion. Another hit him on the hand and he
So
dropped
good to
the
do
door.
that.
Could you speak up a
Look.
little?
Ugh! He groped on the ground and located a fallen torch. He tried the switch, but nothing happened. A brief examination revealed that the glass was broken. I don't know where this accent's coming from, by the way. Possibly the bulb was damaged. Walter Williams cowered in the darkness for a few seconds and then straightened up with a hollow laugh. Bleeding flying mice, he grunted. Harmless, horrible. Well, now they've all gone, so perhaps the horses will come back now.
50p
He
to
gave
make
a-
Batman.
Batman. Oh gosh.
West or London?
I'll do as Batman as I can get. He gave a whistle, and Penny and Stango moving in the darkness. I'm Batman. But they did not come to him. It's very appropriate actually from the book. Please, you bleeding cells then, he muttered.
and began fetching the remaining bales of hay from the pickup.
One can read it as the Adam West Batman.
God, I'm trying to remember what the sound was.
£2 for me to start reading because of Van Quizzen book.
Right.
Alright.
That's okay, my voice is getting a bit crackly. Thank you so much, that
Like an
fits.
escape room.
A piercing, long-drawn scream reverberated across the glassite-walled sleeping turret, congealing her vocal cords and turning Carter's blood to ice. It was followed by a silence so cloying that it seemed to muffle the tick of Carter's Greenwich synchronized wristwatch. With a startled oath, he snatched an oxygen mask from an overnight bag, clamped it on his face, and rushed to the window, throwing the casement wide. By the way, they are on the moon. Just wanted to emphasize that for those who aren't paying attention. Strode out onto the railed observation platform which half encircled Gleason's tower-like dwelling. Beneath him stretched the... Oh, that's a bit boring. A strangled sound came from behind him. He swung about, his lips tightening. Vera was standing just outside the window. "John," she choked. "That street came from downstairs. You can't see anything from here. The wobblies wouldn't be visible in this spinner." The scream came again. It was audible now on the platform, a hideous, tormenting wailing which seemed to drift up from below. "It's coming from Gleason's sleeping turret," Carter said. "He sleeps with his oxygen mask on and his windows flung wide."
On the moon.
On the moon.
On the moon.
So how come the scream is going through the air? And
Yeah. Look. Just...
Just it's, yeah.
It's reverberating through the ether.
That's it.
I just wanted to make sure. "Then why are we standing here?" Vera choked. "Oh, he's dying." "Get back inside," Carstairs rapped. "You ought to have more sense than to come out here without a mask."
What we've got left, everybody to read a sentence at a time as Zaphras from Babylon 5.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Who?
Ouch.
Zaphras.
Sorry, for the benefit of the other people in the room who don't know who that is, could you just remind them? I mean, obviously I know, but...
I'm Zaphras.
Very
We are
sad story,
I'm Zaphras. I'm Zaphras and so is my wife.
Oh, Zaphras.
I've seen it, but...
Zaphras.
We don't know it's Baldric then.
Baldric would be good.
Baldric, I'm trying to remember how Baldric sounds.
Just mention turnips.
They turnips.
Turnips.
A turnip, all of my own. Is it like that?
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that close
close.
enough?
Close.
All right. I'll go with that. At a time, so we're going to count each other in? Or?
Oh, okay, I'll start. "Take it easy, Vera," he cautioned. "If you drop dead, you'll be sorry later on."
Julian was awakened by the throb of a stiff neck.
What is it, Doctor? Walter Williams spoke roughly, anxiously.
5, 6 crabs. We go, we do, we go, we do, it's going screen, it's here, what do we do? Swedish chef and crabs. No.
Good crab in the bowl.
"John! The wobblies are loose!"
The skin of his entire body felt like sandpaper.
It could be any one of a number of things, the doctor replied, not meeting the other's gaze. How long has she been like this? Oh, she's just grabbing. Crab any pain.
Click, click, clickety, clickety, click. Apparently that's a club.
"House!
8 little ducks.
That was a lie.
8 little crabs.
Certainly a line.
Oh, sorry. Where am I? "John! He's dead!" she husked, her voice like a whisper from the tomb.
He opened one eye cautiously and saw an unfamiliar wall.
Bats from hell spread killer disease. School quarantiners, plague and madness strike. Death virus escapes from research centre.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
There was silence for some minutes. I hope you won't be disappointed in me. Quite after it.
A convulsive contraction twisted Carstairs' rough-hewn face. Swiftly he strode to the bed, ignoring the nettles which the tallest of the three wobblies instantly falling at him. One grazed his right cheek, another embedded itself in his shoulder.
£1 to stop for lunch.
Good enough for
Why
me.
not?
Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your generosity.